broadcast, please call the Oregon Studio hotline at 336-831-0864. Stations, your final time cue will be with 15 seconds until airtime. Mark, 15 seconds until airtime.
The following is a presentation of Learfield IMG College.
This is Duck Insider.
Give it to Verdell. He's got the first down and go! Duck fans start celebrating. Oregon is the 2019 Pac-12 champion. The 2020 Rose Bowl champion.
Richardson, another open three. Good! Duarte dribbles and slams with the right hand. For the third time in the last 5 years, the Ducks are Pac-12 champions. Outright champs.
Foley three. Goal! Foley ball. Down Shelley. Three ball. Goal! Regular season champions and now Pac-12 tournament champions.
Welcome to Duck Insider.
We're just getting started.
This is Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College. Presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Better banking, local solutions. Live from the Country Financial Studio, here's Joey Mack.
Thank you, and a happy hump day to everybody joining us across the Oregon Sports Network. I know things are looking a little bit different around the state of Oregon with that 2-week freeze beginning today. Things certainly have felt different and look different around the state, at least from my vantage point here today. So everybody stay safe and do what you can to slow this spread. And in the meantime, the Ducks getting ready to face the UCLA Bruins, and we do not yet know a kickoff time. As of 1 o'clock Wednesday afternoon, Ducks and Bruins still awaiting the kickoff time and TV information. But we can tell you that as we go on the air today, the 12:30 window on ESPN2 has just opened up with the Kansas and Texas game, unfortunately, being postponed due to a combination of injuries and COVID-19 issues within the Jayhawks program. That game is going to be rescheduled for December, which means that the ESPN2 window is open at 12:30 Pacific time for the Ducks and the Bruins, and potentially ESPN could slot this Pac-12 matchup there. We'll let you know when we have official confirmation. A lot of people trying to plan their Saturdays. I'm trying to plan my Saturday. I don't know when we're going to go on the air yet, but it'll be 2 hours before kickoff. We know that for sure. Joey Mack here with you inside the Country Financial Studio. Mario Cristobal met with the media upstairs in the Hatfield-Dowland complex. We'll have that for you in just a moment. Also, some fun things are planned this week. Ducks and UCLA. You got a little tease there on the. That was an audio teaser from Scott. Just roll it, Scott. I mean, I could just talk over this thing. The Ducks are getting ready to celebrate some Polynesian roots. There's obviously a number of great Polynesian players. Marcus Mariota won the Heisman Trophy. Panay Sewell and a few others that are on the roster. Some that have been on the roster for the Ducks previously. Let's just say that Oregon has some fun things in store for this game against UCLA. It will also be Chip Kelly, of course, returning to Hudson Stadium again. And we've got some more fun things in store for you, and you can also find the Sideline Ohana Special Edition gear on the GoDucks.com shop website, as well as the Duck Store, uoduckstore.com. The NBA Draft is also coming up tonight before we hear from Mario Cristobal. How about Peyton Pritchard? He is getting ready to see where his name will be called. Coming up on ESPN, 4 o'clock Pacific time. So if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour, we're all anxiously awaiting to see where Peyton Pritchard, West Lynn's finest, will end up. As you'll hear, I've had so much fun calling Peyton Pritchard's games over the year. Always seems to step up in the big moments, doesn't he? Peyton Pritchard and draft day coming up for, well, the entire basketball landscape. But obviously, we're pretty excited to see where Peyton Pritchard ends up. He's one of the most competitive guys that I've ever been around. Whatever team drafts Peyton Pritchard, they're going to be darn happy that they did, because he's going to work his tail off, and I think he's going to have a very successful NBA career. The 4-year starter for the Ducks, and one NBA team is going to be lucky enough to select him. Draft day, ESPN, Peyton Pritchard. We'll find out where he heads here this afternoon, this evening. Meanwhile, Mario Cristobal talked to the media today. We're also going to hear from Jalen Redd, Oregon wide receiver, and a few other defensive student athletes are meeting with the media as we speak. We'll have those interviews for you coming up today and tomorrow. And we also today will sit down with Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel. That's coming up in about 20 minutes or so when we'll sit down with Oregon soccer head coach Graeme Abel as they wrapped up their fall workout slate on Friday. More on that coming up. Meanwhile, Mario Cristobal, the Oregon football head coach, talking UCLA, some updates on player availabilities as well. I know a lot of fans have been wondering. Mario Cristobal gave some updates today.
We wrapped up our Wednesday practice, really competitive practice, high energy practice. Great job by the look teams, the scout team certainly brought a lot of juice and energy in a really competitive 2-minute drill. For you guys that I'm sure you guys want to know, guys that we expect back for this game. Obviously, we expect Popo to be back for this game. Still evaluating Cam McCormick and Hunter Campmoyer. Not available, Micah Pittman, Steve Stevens, Dawood Davis, Justin Flo, and questionable Spencer Webb and Patrick Herbert. So, as you know, we don't elaborate on injury report and health status, and we like to give that to you guys. I like to give it to you myself. That's our processes, that's our policies, and we'll learn and grow and make sure that you guys get that stuff directly from me as opposed to other sources on social media. With that being said, questions, please.
Having some more tight ends this week, how does that kind of help you guys? And I guess just how exciting is it to have Cam back? He's been out for a really long time.
Yeah, we're hoping we could get these guys there. You know, we're out there at practice today and certainly made some progress, but don't want to jump to a conclusion without it being firmly set. But it's great to have those bodies back out there, them as team leaders, as teammates, as human beings, members of this organization. It's great to see a couple guys back and out there running around, having a good time, executing some really good football. So really happy to see him.
Mario, what kind of luxury is it to have a player like Travis Dye who, you know, comes off the bench and, you know, so to speak, pinch hits with a lot of home runs when he touches the ball?
Travis has been a great teammate. He's been a great player. We talk about his energy all the time. That's legit. I wish you could see him in practice, the way he brings all he has every single time and really energizes the group, the whole team, not only the offensive guys, but the defensive guys and special teams. So, and his competitive character really adds a lot to practice. So it's awesome. It's a blessing to have him here.
Devin and his performance against Washington State now with Pittman out again this week. What do you just see from him and his growth from when he showed up till, you know, through this season till now?
What we've seen the last 2 weeks from Devin is he's really practicing hard. He's handling every part of his process is a lot better, and he knows, you know, we have, you know, we do things a certain way, and you know, we have really held him to a high standard. And I can honestly say these past 2 weeks, he's really attacked these processes and has had 2 great weeks of practice. And it showed up in last week's game in the way that he played and had 2 great practices today as well. So really proud of him and really looking forward to seeing him continue to grow, mature, and develop.
Coach, holding on to the ball and tackling were points of emphasis for this week. How do you feel about those 2 items heading into the game on Saturday?
They have to improve. As you know, those things are really, they can destroy your game and destroy your season if you don't fix it. So has it been a point of emphasis? Absolutely. Does it have to show up? Undoubtedly it has to show up in every rep in practice, in our mentality as we approach the game, and certainly on game day. Our players understand how important that is. We have been hammering that. We have been driving that home, and we expect to get better results.
Mario, I wanted to confirm your understanding of what the status of this weekend's game is. I mean, the fan base is asking for a game time for a game they can't even attend, and ESPN is punting to the Pac-12. Chip has joked that it's like getting a cable appointment, be free from noon to 7:30. Are you confident this game is going to be played this weekend?
This game will be played this weekend, as far as I'm informed. Haven't had any glitches, just waiting for a game time.
With the game time being up in the air, does that present any challenges just for you guys game planning or prepping with the players for Saturday?
The only difference would be that if you play later, you have time for maybe an extra walkthrough. But aside from that, as long as the game day is the same, really it's let's just say we have faced bigger challenges throughout the course of the season than that. So I think we'll be okay.
Mario, Camden's 0 for 2 this year on field goals, both makeable distances. What's the confidence level there? What are the conversations with him, and kind of is his confidence wavering at all with those two?
Well, I don't think confidence is wavering. I think you have this. You have a really good football player who's had a couple bad kicks, but when you talk about just the kicking crew overall, the punters, they're great teammates. They work their tails off. They're accountable guys, and then comes the performance part, right? It has to be better. That's the bottom line. It has to be better. So there aren't any Jedi mind tricks on this side over here. We just approach it that way. We open it up in practice and compete all the way through Friday and see what it looks like, and play the best guy, whoever's playing the best. But I don't see a lack of confidence. I see a lack of details being carried out and executed in technique, and we feel good about it being fixed.
Mario, Chip played a lot of freshmen his first year at UCLA. A number of those guys played here 2 years ago. How have you seen that group evolve, especially Dorian Thompson-Robinson?
Well, they've got great players. I mean, they're in such a hotbed of talent out there in Southern California. They develop players really well. I mean, they have as talented as a roster as you'll see, and they use their personnel really well. They're very technically sound, fundamentally sound. It's obvious they pose a lot of challenges, and they showed it last week. I mean, what they did. And I know the offense gets a lot of attention, as it should. They score a lot of points, do a great job, but I don't know what the statistics are, but I know that their defensive performance had to be the best in the country, holding a team under 180 yards of total offense. And the way that they shut down their opponent was really impressive. And the way that it was done, too, it was done with physicality. It was done with speed, causing turnovers, just playing really good, sound, fundamental football. So those guys are good players, and our guys are very well aware of that. And they know a lot of their players. So we expect their best, and we expect our best as well.
How well do you think you guys have been the first 2 weeks of keeping contained, and then how important is that going to be with DTR and just his escapability? And he ran for 100 yards last week.
Yeah, I haven't seen a team contain him in all his film. You'd always take a deep dive into your opponents, and you go back and watch how they were when they were young and as they mature. I don't think anyone's contained them, and now he's got another a pseudo off season under his belt, right, in a couple of games. So, no, discipline and running to the football and eye discipline with a player like that is critical to the success of the defensive performance. So, a lot of tape watching, a lot of emphasis on those little details. And I guess I should say there aren't any little details. They are all big, fat details. They're all very important, and they've got to be at the forefront of everything we do as it relates to stopping their offense.
Coach, looking at that UCLA defense up front, 92 and number 58 look really tough for them. Their whole defensive line looks tough. What's the challenge facing your offensive line this week?
Well, they do a great job just crowding the football, and they get off on the snap count. They do a great job anticipating your snap count. They lived in the backfield last week, I believe, 3 times. I mean, they beat the puller out of his stance to cause a negative play and get the opponent in 2nd and 12, 2nd and 13 plus. And then they do so much twisting, so much stunning. Their pressure or stunning, I believe, 44% of the time. So, and they pre-snap stem. So the original picture changes before the snap and then changes post-snap as well. So your rules have got to be airtight. You've got to trust your eyes, and you've got to be able to see a little, not see a lot, not see too much, because if you start letting your eyes wander, that's when guys come free. That's when you get your free hitters in the backfield, and that's when negative plays are caused. So a ton of discipline is involved in playing their defense. It's certainly a lot different than what they have been playing the last couple of years, and something that, again, our guys have been studying and working at really hard. And that's why today the credit goes to the scout teams for as hard as they worked at giving us the best look possible on UCLA.
With Justin Flo, Mario, just how has he handled and reacted to obviously suffering an injury that and a surgery that he said he's going to be having?
Well, I just want to answer your question now. We're not going to comment on the health status of guys who are either available or not available, and our guys do really well and they're taken care of really well. So that's about as far as details we're going to get into that.
Coach, how important is it to get Anthony Brown some playing time and when the game is still on the line a little bit, not just mop-up time or an injury to the quarterback? Are there plans without giving it away, of how to get him some experience.
He's a really good football player, and he's practicing really well, and we're certainly trying to find ways and opportunities to get him in the game.
I mean, I've had a lot of opportunities in terms of punt returns. Travis has been back there, I think, every time. You can correct me if I'm wrong on that. Is that his job, or is that still kind of an open competition?
You know, he is the first team guy for a couple of reasons, and they're all positive reasons. He's a good decision maker. He secures the ball really well. He's made people miss in practice. We go thud, and we've gone a couple reps live throughout camp and whatnot. But him, obviously, Mike has been an excellent punt returner as well, and so has Chris Hudson. There's a couple other guys that have gotten back there and done a good job also, but for sure, Travis Dye is the guy right now, and he's shown his ability and a lot of other things he's done for us. Hopefully, he'll have the opportunity to do that, in his punt return game as well.
Right, the Pac-12 ADs apparently approved the possibility of non-conference play just for additional flexibility if things arise. People have obviously, fans mainly, have clamored for the idea of somebody playing at BYU or Cincinnati or something. None of these things are possibilities that you were exploring even before today. But if something were to happen at some future point and a non-conference game was available, would you be open to playing a non-conference game if that was a possibility at some point?
Well, absolutely. I think everyone has to keep an open mind. We have a truncated season as it is. If the opportunity presents itself to play football in a safe manner, right? Protocols have to match up conference versus an out-of-conference opponent. I think the players deserve that. They've worked extremely hard, and knock on wood, we haven't had an issue where we've had any games or reason to have to postpone or cancel any games. We'd love to be able to stay the course and be able to play every single weekend. And yeah, we'd definitely be open to those opportunities.
Coach, I know you do a lot of intermixing of your guards and tackles in practices, and then also we've been seeing it in the games this year. What's the advantage of doing that mixing up of those guys in the games?
That's a good question. I think the first thing is because they've earned that time, and the time that they have earned is rewarded with actual playing time, right? That generates a lot of, it galvanizes that offensive line even more. It also validates everything that we do in terms of work, earn, compete, and, things work out. So that's one. Number two, I know that some of their specs are different in terms of style of play and technique, very similar across the board. So I don't know if there's like a changeup of any sort in terms of what an opponent is seeing, what we do up front. But I just think it goes down to, you just have to, guys that earn playing time, you have to play. And it's important for the players to know that game day is not tryout day. It's not experiment day. It's not, let's see if you can do it. No. It's a day where the guys that have really busted their tails and have shown and proved in practice consistently, repetitively, that they could perform and execute our systems at the highest level, they're the ones that are going to play. So I know I got off on a tangent there, but that's kind of leads to the decisions for playing those guys.
Mario Cristobal, the Oregon football head coach, met with the media upstairs at the Hatfield Downland Complex just a little while ago, if you're live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. Meanwhile, a couple questions for those of you who are joining us a little later. Alex and Kyle, for instance, no, we still do not have a kickoff time or a network yet. As of 1:18 Wednesday afternoon. I know that the show gets played on some of our Oregon Sports Network affiliate stations a little later on in the day, so by then we might have a kickoff time. But live in the 1 o'clock hour, when we do the show live, for those of you who watch and listen live in the 1 o'clock hour, still waiting on a kickoff time for Oregon and UCLA. Though with the Kansas-Texas game getting postponed, that does open up a window at 12:30 on ESPN2, as again, it was previously announced that the game will be televised by the ESPN family of networks. Hopefully we have one soon for you. And when we do, we'll, of course, tell you about it. Coming up, we're going to hear from Jalen Redd, zero in on a wide receiver who made some big catches last weekend and probably going to need him to make some big catches this weekend, too. Going to hear from Jalen Redd when we come back. It's Stuck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Stick with us in the Country Financial Studio on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
Don't go anywhere. Duck Insider continues after these messages on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Learfield IMG College.
To buy your home, you became a house hunting ace, learned about loans, scoured neighborhoods, and asked the right questions. Now you're queen of your castle. If you manage that, you can get your retirement plan on track. Visiting aceyourretirement.org can help. With 401k tips and smart saving strategies, you'll feel empowered to own your retirement like you own your home. Go to aceyourretirement.org. Because when it comes to clearing financial hurdles, you're an ace. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Whoa, long time no see. It's me, the Rock t-shirt in the back of your closet. Dude, remember? You crowd surfed in me, man. But you haven't worn me in like forever. I get it, you're retired, but I still got some rock left in me. So take me to Goodwill, where I can really make a difference.
Your donations to Goodwill create jobs, training programs, and education assistance for people in your community. To find your nearest donation center, go to goodwill.org. Donate stuff. Create jobs. A message from Goodwill and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Coming up tonight, the Oregon Football Coaches Show. Jerry and Jorgie will sit down with Oregon Offensive Coordinator Joe Moorhead. And this afternoon, I'll sit down with Oregon wide receiver Johnny Johnson. We'll have those interviews for you coming up tonight. 7 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network. And you can watch the show live on the Oregon Football Facebook page, GoDucks YouTube page, and Oregon Football Twitter as well. And it's going to be a lot of fun talking with Joe Moorhead tonight. Terry Johns had him for our first pregame interview. Every pregame show, Terry Johns talks to an assistant coach. And well, he had Joe Moorhead on the first one. It was a great conversation. Terry said that they talked via Zoom for almost 20 minutes, and Terry ended up having to trim it down in order to fit on our pregame show. Well, tonight you got about a half an hour with Coach Moorhead sitting down with Jerry and Jorgie. You can join us for that at 7 o'clock across the Oregon Sports Network. Jalen Redd met with the media yesterday. The Oregon wide receiver, boy, did he make some plays. Career highs in yards for Jalen Redd. Career high in yards, I should say, for Jalen Redd. And he's really stepped up, I think, in a big way. The Ducks have a pretty deep wide receiver group. Jalen Redd talked about that and also had a little bit of fun talking about when Devin Williams helped carry him a few extra yards. Jalen Redd talking about that and more.
Yeah, Jalen, what's made this offense so impressive in the second half for you guys and so efficient?
Comfortability, swag, just being comfortable with everybody in the game plan throughout the week. I would say we really have no problem when it comes to depth. When the ones and twos come in, when the man's down, we got no problem with the next man stepping up, and we just got to trust in everybody in the offense to have the confidence to keep making plays when stuff may not be going our way.
Yeah, Jalen, with your speed and quickness, how often, and this includes just playing with Justin Herbert, some of the great ones in Oregon history, like Mel Renfro, Ahmad Rashad, would go up to the quarterback and say, hey, on this play, I'm wide open. Hit me. How often do you have those conversations with the quarterback or maybe one of the coaches? How confident are you to get open?
I feel like those conversations happen. They don't happen too often, but I feel like when they do happen, it's more of a comfortable set. There's no ego to it. So he may come up to me and see something that he sees, but at the same time, we may come up to him. We may come up to him and see something that we see as well. But he won't take it personal. He'll take it as a learning experience. It'll be a learning experience for both of us to see something from a perspective that we aren't seeing. So it's like, at the end of the day, he sees and I see that we trying to get each other better. We trying to win this game. We trying to help each other do everything. We got to be one. So that's what we're doing.
Jalen, obviously it's a crazy year with all the cancellations, and, you know, we saw Stanford's quarterback miss the opener with a false positive. Just how stressful is that game day test, waiting to see, even if you're doing all the right things, whether you are cleared to go or not cleared? It
is a stressful process. I won't lie to you. Just just knowing that it could be that possibility that you may have to hold out or whatever. But I mean, here we kind of trust the process that we got going on. We all kind of feel comfortable with what's going on, and we kind of feel safe at the end of the day. But we know every stuff may happen, but next man up, and we confident that the next man up gonna get anything we need done.
Jalen, how big were your eyes when you saw that pass coming to you at the end of the first half there from Tyler that set up the touchdown? And did you expect to be that open?
I didn't expect to be that open, but I did expect to be open. I just kind of wanted to make a play for the team. I feel like we kind of needed some type of momentum shifter, and one of our guys had to make it on the outside, and I just was able to make that play. Quarterback made a good read, great pass, and we was able to do what we did.
Jalen, obviously Tyler's been waiting in the wings here for a couple of years. Are you at all surprised with how quickly he's picked up Joe's system and just the start he's off to in his career as the starter?
I wouldn't say I'm surprised. I've definitely seen these spurts out of Tyler in the past when he was backing up Herbert and just different things like that. I've seen situations where I just felt he would be comfortable for different moments. And that came up in just all our games, just adversity. We hit adversity in a lot of games. In our first game, we may not hit as much adversity as we did in this last game, but in a way, we definitely hit it. And I just like the way he overcame and led the team, and we did what we had to do to get the dub at the end of the day.
Following up, Jen, on that same play, that felt like a big momentum swing for you guys when you caught that long pass to set up the touchdown. Did you feel like that was maybe a play that kind of swung the game in your guys' favor?
Definitely. Like I said, I feel like our team needed some type of spur to get us right, to get us going on the offensive side of the ball. I feel like our D was holding it down, and our offense was moving the ball actually really good. We just kept getting held up at the end of drives. So I feel like that play right there kind of got us back in the work of things that this a normal practice game day for us. It's a normal Tuesday for us, and we could do it whenever it takes.
UCLA basically shut down Garber's and Cal's offense without much time at all to prepare. What are you seeing from the Bruins that is different from their past defenses?
They're aggressive defense. I would say I give them props. They play Cal very well. They're coached very great. Their players are good. We're gonna have to have a great week of practice and attack this like we attack every week, 1-0. We can't take nothing for granted, and we got to come on and work like we do with everybody.
Jalen, you guys were without Micah last game. It sounds like you might not have him this week too. What have you seen from Chris, Devin, and Josh in the last game and kind of in practice this week? Big spot for them to fill in.
I've seen no fall. I've seen no fall off. I feel like I said, in our receiver room the depth is there. Now don't get me wrong, Mike is definitely gonna be missed, but at the same time, like for sure he's definitely gonna be missed. I don't want to just look over that. But at the same time, I feel like as an offense, as a senior and everybody a leader, I feel like we feel comfortable with the next man stepping up. I don't feel like I need to talk to Dev, Chris, Josh. I just know when they time come, they're gonna make the play. So that's kind of how we rocking right now.
Jalen, did you know that Devin was the one pushing you there on that carry near the goal line? Because, I mean, in that moment, you're getting wrapped up by like 6 guys. So do you know that Devin's holding on? Is he telling you, like, I got you, I'm carrying you to the end zone?
Hey, what's so crazy is Devin told me in the huddle that play that I'm going to get you in the end zone. I didn't know what he meant by that. I didn't know if he was talking about a block or whatever. But that's exactly what he told me. And when it happened in the game, I really didn't know he was grabbing me. And he came to the sideline, told me he was the one grabbing me and all that. And then when I seen it on video, it was incredible. It was turned up. I like how all that just went down. That was a great play for me. I kind of like. That was a great play for me and him one-on-one, just to connect in that way. Like, he wanted to get me in the end zone as bad as I wanted to get in the end zone.
That's just being a good teammate. I mean, that's a little bit of brotherhood, too. I love that from Jalen Red. Great stuff talking about how Devin Williams, they both wanted to get in the end zone because it's Oregon getting in the end zone. Doesn't matter who gets a touchdown on the stat sheet. That's like, I'll never forget when, who was it? Was it Brian Bennett who didn't hand the ball off and then they both scored? Like in the official stat book, who cares who gets the touchdown? Oregon got the touchdown, right? That's just being a good teammate. Good stuff from Jalen Red. Absolutely good stuff. Today's show, always brought to you by Shadow Hills Country Club, your family resort, just minutes from home. Call for a tour today. Up next, we're going to hear from Graeme Abel. Going to sit down with the Oregon soccer head coach as they wrapped up their fall workouts on Friday. That's after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
After 2 years of construction, my wife and I finally moved into our dream home. So when a bathtub fixture broke, causing major water damage, I was glad we had the home insurance protection we needed. How do you know your home is protected? Talk to a Country Financial rep like me, Nick Simon. We can help you understand your options and select coverages to meet your needs. Then if something happens to your home, you won't have any surprises. Need the right coverage for your home but not sure where to start? Visit TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local country representative.
This football season, prepare your taste buds for the most iconic sports watching drink of all time, Pepsi. With refreshing deliciousness specially formulated to keep your eye on the ball and mouth-watering fizziness to help you power through game day, Pepsi has everything you need to start strong.
I used to care when Mike cheered so hard he spilled nacho cheese on my carpet, but thanks to Pepsi, even Mike can't ruin my football party.
So this football season, make Pepsi your go-to game day drink because it's the only drink made for football watching. Pepsi, that's what I like.
Duck Insider continues after this timeout on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
I wasn't prepared to be a caregiver to Mom. I had no idea how hard it would be and what I would need to know. Things I never thought of, like how to improve her mood and ways for me to stay positive. Luckily, I found the Caregiving Resource Center from AARP. It had articles about the basics, but also information about the hurdles I was facing.
Caregiving Resource Center at aarp.org/caregiving. Articles, tips, and tools to help you both care for your loved one and care for yourself. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
All right, everybody in the car, let's go.
What are we gonna do first when we get there, Mom? Go for a hike?
Sure.
What about canoeing? Can we go canoeing too?
I don't see why.
How long does it take to get to the forest?
It's not that far, sweetie.
Are we there yet?
Yep, we're here.
Already?
It's a short drive from your neighborhood to your naturehood. Visit discovertheforest.org to find a neighborhood park or green space near you. Brought to you by the Ad Council and the U.S. Forest Service.
Welcome back inside the Country Financial Studio. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joining us via the University of Oregon Alumni Association guest line is head coach Graeme Abel of Oregon Soccer. You know, normally we'd say that he'd be sitting in the chair, and he's also our across-the-hall neighbor. But we haven't seen a whole lot of him because, well, we're all trying to work from home. So it looks like you're joining us from home today, Coach. Is that right?
I am. So if any of my kids pop in the background here, you'll have to excuse them.
No, that's okay. I did a podcast last night, and I got a really, really nice bark in the background from my dog, and he was chasing the cat. I get it. I think that we're all in that same boat. It's okay. It's okay. What's the picture behind you though? That's awesome looking.
That is a gift from my father-in-law, who is a avid art collector. So we have a couple of them. I have no idea what they are. So they're pretty cool though. So they look nice. Well, my wife's in charge of all the decor in the house, not me.
I was gonna say though, it looks very nice. So tip of the cap to your wife. Well done. Hey, so you guys wrapped up your fall workouts. Obviously, we thought fall might look a little bit different when we last talked in August, but God, it just seems like it was years ago now. Just give fans an update on what the team's been up to, what you and your staff have been up to in an unprecedented 2020 year.
Well, we're probably the best team in the country playing against poles and mannequins. So it's been we looked at it as a good challenge as a coaching staff. And, how can we create different games? How can we create different exercises that replicate a game? However, you've got to stay, X amount of feet away from each other at the same time. So, I have to congratulate our kids, our student athletes, because they embraced it. They got on with it. They never complained. We spoke about there's one or two ways you can look at this. You can complain about what you can't do, or you can say, well, this is what we can do, and let's just move forward. And we kind of went with the mantra of there's only one way, and that's forward. Yeah. So it ended up being, what could have been a huge challenge to being a really, really productive 6 weeks.
I love that approach, Coach, of like, hey, let's be problem solvers, not just, identify the problem and then go, well, it's a problem. Let's just all sit here. I think that we've all learned that we're all pretty adaptable in this 2020 year. Yeah. And, that's got to be a great message. So if I could dial in with you just a little bit on staying distanced at practice, what could you guys do? What were you able to work on? You feel like you got as much out of it as you possibly could with everything going on?
we got more out of it than I ever expected to get out of it. We couldn't head shed soccer balls, so there was every time someone had a ball, there'd be our equipment guys did an exceptional job. Aaron and Riley they had a little spray gun there, would clean the soccer ball down every time somebody headed the ball.
Wow.
We had to make sure that we have to keep the 10 feet from one another, and some exercises 6 feet in other exercises, and so we had to design different games that had different restrictions on them, and we had different zones that players could go in and out of, and players in different colored pennies that could go in one zone, couldn't go in another zone. But we were able to like I said, create those games that actually replicated a lot of game-like scenarios. So we were able to get a lot of coaching done, do a lot of different things that we would do in a regular game week, but just a couple of little extra restrictions on them, but really productive 6 weeks. So it was fun. It was a lot of fun.
Graeme Abel joining us, head coach, Oregon Soccer, getting ready now for a spring season, which we'll talk about. Coach, I'm kind of curious. I've heard some coaches around the country in various different sports talk about that, once student-athletes got used to wearing the mask, it was actually in some ways a positive thing because it helped with conditioning in some cases. Did you notice that with the fitness level of your players? Because you see these masks that, and they got popular with football over the last few years, that they've got like the little vents, and it's like if you're training with less oxygen. Is there any truth to that? Did you notice that with your student-athletes?
So my father-in-law is the guy that gave us the paintings, is a high-altitude guru and stuff, and he said they're one of the biggest myths ever.
Really? All right.
Yeah, huge myth in it and stuff. So, our kids from a physical standpoint, the growth and the evolution that they made was phenomenal. Again, I put all the credit back on them because they approached this 6 weeks with a incredible enthusiasm, and their attitude was second to none.
Tell us about the competition level in practice and some of your position battles. Let's actually talk soccer. I'm excited to be able to do that. Tell us about the team a little bit.
Well, we had your two goalkeepers in camp over the last 6 weeks. With Charlotte Brisley and Leah Freeman. Those two bounced off of one another incredibly. Thomas Osborne, who does our goalkeepers here, did an incredible job with those guys. So those three were working together day in, day out, and that ended up being a really, really good battle. I threw the odd clip up on Twitter for everyone to see, but those two really got after it. And then our front line did exceptional. I think we ended up with about 8 to 9 players who were rotating through that front line there. Whether it was 2 or 3 players playing with those positions, but they evolved really well. Looking at some tactical things with movement and technical things with a lot of finishing on goal. I mean, we went to goal every day, probably for a solid 30 to 45 minutes. So I don't think they've done as much shooting as they did in the 6 weeks ago, what they've done in their lives. So it was a really productive from the forwards, and in the midfield group, we did a lot of different things with them, looking at different formations and shapes. And so, I don't want to highlight too many individuals in terms of positional battles, because one of the other things we spoke about with this group is we have to do it through the collective, not through the individuals. So that's another mantra of ours that we're really pushing, is making sure as collectively as a group we're as strong as we can be.
Not asking then for position battles, what do you think the strength of this team is going to be? What's your identity heading into the spring season?
Certainly the physical piece. We went from last winter when I first came in, to more than doubling our output in training sessions from a kilometer and high speed running and things like that. So, we've, some people know this, some people don't, but, from our sports science department with Ben McKay, Jordan Sylvester, who does all our nutrition pieces, John Krasinski, who does our strength and conditioning, those guys put together an incredible plan, and our student athletes got after it. And, the strides we've made have been phenomenal, to be quite honest with you.
Coach, I love that you bring up everybody else. It's not just the coaching staff, it's the support staff too. It really is a team, isn't it?
Well, again, I've said this a number of times, the facilities and all the bells and whistles at Oregon are fantastic, but it was the people that sold me in terms of taking on this challenge. And they have been incredible for us in terms of supporting our student athletes and really pushing them to the next level.
Oregon Soccer head coach Graeme Abel joining us. You can follow him on Twitter at Graeme Abel, also on Twitter at Oregon Soccer. Follow all the various social media channels to stay up to date with the Ducks. You know, I'm curious to talk to you now about a new addition to the roster. We talked about it on the show in Lexi Romero. Tell fans about just how big of a get that is for you guys and how she transferring in really helps out this squad.
Yeah, I mean, the moment we were able to start having the conversations with Lexi, she fit right into what we're looking to do. Really, really driven individual, and it's unique because she went to the Air Force, so she has been at the Air Force. She's played her freshman year last year, but had to sit her first year because they have to go to prep school and things like that at Air Force. So she'll come in. I think she'll be 20 by the time she gets to us, and she'll be starting her sophomore year. So. Great personality, like I said, as obviously has a track record of scoring goals and being productive on the attacking side of things in a really competitive conference there over at Air Force in the Mountain West Conference. So she'll come in and, she'll compete with the, Jordan Warmdahl, Ali Cook, Maggie Lacey, Callan, Harrington, Eden Hardy, that group of players who have been phenomenal through this, these 6 weeks. So she'll come in and compete with that group. So, and again, another really good addition to what we already have here in Eugene.
If I could just brag about her for a moment, Coach. Led the conference in the Mountain West with 14 goals. She also was the Offensive Player of the Year in the conference and the Newcomer of the Year. That's, just the second time that's ever happened where you won both awards in the Mountain West. So pretty darn good player. I also understand that she wants to go into the Space Force when she's done playing soccer, Coach.
Well, yeah, and I'm not sure if I should say this or not, but Rachel's father-in-law is our assistant I think he's a 3-star general and is in charge of the Space Force. So we've gotten in there as well.
All right, I see. Hey, you know what? That's just using connections. It's networking, Coach. It's all networking, right?
It's what recruiting's all about.
That's right. I got to ask too about now getting ready for a spring season. So wrapping up these fall workouts, what's the schedule ahead for your staff, for your squad as you gear up toward kind of an unknown in the spring season, Coach?
I was really fortunate because, when, with the women's national team, we used to finish right around the same time. And then our players, they used to have a 6-week gap. And then we would start the first week of January. So when this kind of was laid out in terms of the time, I'm like, well, hold on, it's the exact same period that we had. So really fortunate that, we obviously finished this break. Our student athletes take, they're going to take a week to 10 days of I told them, don't even look at a soccer ball, relax, get away from it. Let's make sure we finish with our studies the right way, and with everything come up really quickly after Thanksgiving. We've got such a great culture academically. And then we have a plan in place for them. Again, Ben McKay, Coach K, Rachel helped put together that piece. And then also the high performance coach who was with me with the women's national team, Dawn Scott, she was able to consult with us on that as well. So we feel as though we have a really, really good plan put together for our kids that allows them to continue to evolve physically, because like I've said this time and time again, they've made such great strides, but we can't stand still. Like I said at the start, we got to move forward. So
still a lot of unknowns. What can you tell fans, if anything, about what a schedule in the spring could look like, and what's the latest on when you guys could get rolling again?
Well, we'll be back in January. Obviously, January 4th, I think, is when school starts. So once we go through all the testing protocols, we'll start training immediately. And then, first official game, I think, you can play is February the 6th by the NCAA. Not sure what schedule is going to look like right now. I know Lisa and Rob are working through that with the Pac-12. So, we're patient with regards to that. We'll know they'll make the right decisions for the health and safety of our student athletes, and we'll move forward once we get that schedule.
Do you like puzzles?
I don't mind them. I love a good challenge.
Okay. How's your Tetris game skill?
God, I haven't played that in a long time.
I think you're going to be playing some scheduling Tetris this year, right?
That's okay.
It's a good challenge.
It's a good challenge.
Yeah.
We'll have some fun doing it.
It's going to be interesting to see how everything shakes out, and I just hope everybody does their part. Grab those masks, everybody, because we would like to see a a full slate season in the spring. One thing I will say, Coach, I mean, you guys are used to playing for soccer a spring season at the collegiate level, not as involved, obviously, as the fall season, but does you feel like that gives you guys an advantage, that you guys are already kind of used to still competing in the spring a little bit?
Yeah. I mean, I think, especially these guys, when they've played their club soccer prior to getting to Oregon, they've played year round. So it's not going to be that big of an adjustment for us. And our kids are just looking forward to actually getting on the field and playing. So
I love it. Graeme Abel, head coach, Oregon Soccer. Well, here's to continuing to be a great neighbor. I hope that we've been, as good of a neighbor as Wilson was in home improvement for Tim Allen. I really hope that's always my goal. We just peek out of the studio and we could do like sideways version of Wilson peeking over the fence. So and I mean, shoot, these days you don't really see my mouth and nose anymore. So I guess it is.
You look completely different now. You've got a haircut anyway. So
that's right. That's right. I didn't go quite as short as you, though, Coach. I could have done it.
Mine's the cheap option. It cost me about $12 a year in raises.
Graeme Abel, are you a razor blade guy or a single blade like barbershop style?
I used to be with the old trimmers, and then all of a sudden I realized that as I've got right now, you get the little shadow, and I realized that I'm truly bald, so I just go with the razor.
Graeme Abel, head coach, Oregon Soccer. Hey, thanks for being with us, and looking forward to seeing you guys back on the field. And Coach, too, I really enjoyed having you as a neighbor. I hope that we can get back to that when everyone's working from here sooner than later. Thank you for the time, Coach. Always appreciate it.
Thanks, Joey. Appreciate it.
Good stuff from Graeme Abel. When we come back, we're going to talk a little more football. Oregon and UCLA approaching kickoff on Saturday. It's Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union, back in the Country Financial Studio next on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar presents an original that's now maybe even better. Mary had a little lamb.
Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar with the same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Same refreshing taste as the original, but with zero sugar. Mary had a bottle of Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. That's taste was as good as the original, maybe even better.
Mountain Dew Zero Sugar. As good as the original, maybe even better.
Duck Insider, your home for the latest news on Oregon athletics. This is the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
They say that car crashes happen in slow motion. The reality is that crashes happen fast. There's no time to think and no time to check if your child is in the right car seat. Car crashes are a leading killer of children 1 to 13. Are your kids in the right seat for their age and size? Don't think you know. Know you know. Get more info at safercar.gov/the-right-seat. A message from the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and the Ad Council.
Okay, men. This is your time. Maybe you didn't choose this, but you're here now. You're gonna go out there and be an all-star caregiver. Cook, clean, be there emotionally and physically. You gotta dig deeper. Drive them to physical therapy, doctor's appointments, because that's what caregivers do. Don't give up. Show the world that you're tougher than tough. Caregiving is tougher than tough. Find the care guides you need at aarp.org/caregiving. Brought to you by AARP and the Ad Council.
Welcome back to Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. Joey Mack here with you. Thanks again to Graeme Abel for joining us, talking a little bit of soccer as the Ducks now head toward that spring season, wrapping up those fall workouts. Earlier today, Jamal Hill, Bennett Williams, and Verone McKinley met with the media, zeroing in on the secondary. Won't have time to get to those interviews for you today as they just wrapped up. If you were live with us in the 1 o'clock hour. So we'll have those interviews for you on the show tomorrow, in addition to Deputy Athletic Director Lisa Peterson. I was just touching base with Jake Yovan, Kenyon's dad from Oregon Baseball, who who was getting surgery done. I didn't realize this, and he said that Coach Wasikowski actually reached out to him and said, "Hey, how you doing?" And yeah, not about rotator cuff surgery. So Jake, here's to a speedy recovery, my friend, and hope to see you at PK Park soon. I hope that we can all be back at PK Park soon. This is also pretty funny from Trevor. Justin wanted a haircut like Joey. All right, so if you missed it, here we go. Let's see the haircut for Justin Herbert. He had the long flow. Probably hadn't gotten his haircut like me since at least the Rose Bowl. And I did the same thing. Didn't get the haircut since February. Got it again. So my wife, I thought, did a great job cutting my hair. I said that I wouldn't get a haircut till we played an Oregon sporting event again. Man of my word. I think that Justin Herbert's strength and conditioning coach did a great job. That's right. Justin said today that his strength and conditioning coach is who cut his hair. So well done. But also, guys, Aaron Feld was asked on Twitter if he could cut hair, as well as the Chargers strength and conditioning coach. And Aaron Feld, strength and conditioning coordinator for the Ducks, just said no. But if you're asking me to trim and cultivate a mustache, absolutely. Did you all see Aaron Feld's mask on the sideline? It had a mustache on it. Aaron Feld's mask has a mustache on it. Very well done. Very well done from Coach Feld. So who wore the long hair better? I think we all know the answer. It was Justin Herbert. We all know the answer. It was it's 100% it was Justin Herbert. Mine just looked like a mad scientist like Doc Brown. Whoever said that in the comments a couple weeks ago was dead on. Justin Herbert, though, here's to hoping that the haircut leads to some defense for the Chargers, huh? Would like to see Justin get a few wins. I think he's going to be the offensive rookie of the year. I really do. He continues to win the rookie of the week honor, so why not? I'm a little biased. I'm a lot biased, but come on. I mean, we all know that I think Justin Herbert is probably the best rookie in the NFL right now. Today's show brought to you by Jackson's Food Stores, proud sponsor of the University of Oregon Ducks. Stop by your neighborhood Jackson's for all your game day essentials, everyday specials on game day necessities. You'll be ready for anything the big game brings. Go Ducks. Up next, we're going to talk a little bit more Oregon UCLA. Potentially a kickoff time coming soon, we hope. We hope. More Oregon UCLA preview and a couple notes to think about heading into this Saturday's matchup. That's after this. Duck Insider, presented by On Point Community Credit Union. More from the Country Financial Studio after this on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
As my family continued to grow, I realized I'd have to replace my beloved Jeep with something that has, well, more seats. I'm Jason Hines, Country Financial Rep and father of 7. Whether you're upgrading from your sporty ride with no room for a car seat or finally replacing your well-loved beater that still has a cassette player, you'll want the right protection for your new car. Work with a Country Financial Rep like me and get the protection you need at a price you can afford. Learn more at TakeSimpleSteps.com or contact a local Country representative.
From the weight room to the classroom, on the field and off it, On Point proudly supports University of Oregon athletics because student athletes do so much more than bring us pride on game day. They bring our entire community together in Eugene and all across Oregon. So whether you're watching the game in the stadium, at home, or at your favorite local business, their success makes all of us stronger. On Point Community Credit Union. Join in. OnPointCU.com. Federally insured by NCUA. Equal housing opportunity.
This is Duck Insider. Duck Insider on the Oregon Sports Network from Learfield IMG College.
Is that a faucet running? That's not a faucet. That's a river rushing through the forest. Forest rivers provide over 100 million people with clean water to drink. What? I can't hear you because of the vacuum. That's not a vacuum. That's the trees in the forest cleaning up the air we breathe. I didn't know the trees were so amazing. Yep, and the forest gives us shade, trees to climb. That's awesome. Let's go explore some more.
Visit the forest today and enjoy all it does just for you. To learn more about the forest and find one near you, go to discovertheforest.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Forest Service and the Ad Council.
Adopt US Kids presents What to Expect When You're Expecting a Teenager. Learning the lingo.
Hundo P. Hundo P. Adjective. Short for being 100% sure or certain. As in, if we get a puppy, I'll Hundo P always walk it.
You don't have to speak teen to be a perfect parent. Thousands of teens in foster care will love you just the same. Visit adoptuskids.org. Brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services, Adopt U.S. Kids, and the Ad Council.
We're back on Duck Insider, presented by Point Community Credit. All right, I got to give context. So, all right, so Scott and I have a TV, as you guys know, here in the studio. And right now the Duck is doing push-ups on it. But we had Mike Jorgensen's college well, I don't even know what it is. It's not like a college headshot. It's like a college, I don't know what to call it. It's like the posed image that you do like in your jersey without a helmet on. So we always have fun with that when Jorgie's here, and so I forgot to mute my microphone when we went to break. So those of you who are watching live with us, you heard this. We also had Jorgie. This is what was scarier because one, Jorgie was looking at me on this one. Then he was pointing at me with this other one where it's like one of the only images we have of Jorgie actually playing football. So anyway, those of you who heard that conversation, and then this was the one that was even scarier. Okay, wait for it. This is what was even scarier. Rob Mosley in a robe. Yeah, just having a lot of fun today. And I guess we need to update our inventory of funny pictures of staff members to put up there. You know what? You know the haircut picture is going to have to go there now. Like, you're going to have to leave the side-by-side there forever. Anyway, I hope that everybody enjoyed that. I'm just glad I didn't say anything terrible, except, but we do have the Duck still, which is great. Anyway, thanks for the heads up, those of you in the comment section that were like, wait, don't say anything bad! Don't say anything bad! We were just talking about Jorgie and how he's, on our TV staring at us. The Duck, though, I think that needs to be a staple. The Duck doing push-ups needs to be a staple of the TV, don't you think? We'll have to get that into that system, too. Yeah, that's good work, Duck. Yeah, good work, Duck. He does. There's no doubt about that. Time for your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill. News and notes from around Oregon athletics. So tonight, Peyton Pritchard's going to find out where he's going, ladies and gentlemen. He's going to be successful in the NBA no matter where he goes. I'm just telling you right now, he's going to be successful no matter where he goes. But, man, I hope he goes to a team that's good. Selfishly, I just hope that Peyton Pritchard ends up going somewhere where he'll be successful. Because you can be a great individual player and you can work your tail off, but it's just nice to go to a team where you're going to win some games, too, and have some good coaching, be in a good situation. So here's to Peyton Pritchard finding a great spot in the NBA and a great career still to come. We'll find out where he's going tonight. Also of note, Oregon basketball awaiting tip-off times, men and women, announced by the conference. Looks like coming up this week, and we are still waiting on a kickoff time for Oregon and UCLA. And Rob and I agree, the jerseys that Mike Jorgensen had on in that image, they were fire. I agree. That's a good throwback. That's your Cafe Yum 2-minute drill as we wrap things up on a Wednesday. CafeYum.com. Special diet requests and orders always welcome at Cafe Yum. Well, we'll see you tomorrow. Lisa Peterson's going to join us. Deputy AD. Talk to you then.
A ranger station.
I'd like to report a bear hug.
Okay.
I put out my campfire and Smokey Bear hugged me.
So you drowned the fire, you stirred it, drowned it again, and felt that it was cold?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, he's just letting you know you did good.
Bear hug from Smokey Bear. Status update.
I'm gonna let you go now. There are many ways to start a fire, but one